Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to the next episode review of Soul Leveling Season 2. Now, episode 11, or overall 23, and, after the ending of the last one, how that poor girl that just, how it ended, so dirty, just ended up getting their head cut off. So it's right after that, we see her head get cut off, and we see from her point of view as her head is rolling off her head, because I think scientifically the head still is functioning after a second or two after it does get decapitated. So he's seeing her comrades as her head is falling off, rolling over, and then the other two guys didn't stand a chance. Already heads got cut off too. I mean, already this this episode started off so vicious, and then with we see other helpers, other hunters, just getting their heads cut off. I mean, and then we have the main group with Chiha and say the one with the fire powers and the main group, right? They're dealing with more of the ants until they get deeper into the tunnel. They see the queen. They meet with the queen, right? And we have this other guy that's with them who's with a camera, and he's broadcasting this live, so the general public can see it on the big, one of those big buildings has those big screens, right? Like in Japan, right? So they broadcast that live. The general public can see all this, and they're fighting all the other they get rid of all the main ants, right? In that cave. So they're taking on the queen now. And with the help of their healer, which is with the guy who originally didn't want to go with his buddy, but he went anyway. And so he's healing them, okay, until with Chiha and the other ones, they finally defeat the queen. And the general public, they see this, and they're like, oh, yay, we win, right? Now, of course, if you put in that situation, of course you think, yes, it's a victory, right? It's over. But of course we, those watching the show, know it's not. And so then they get the sense of something else that's coming, and it's that black ant, the one that hatched from that big egg, the one who now he's the one who decapitated all those other hunters. And so Chiha knows that its aura is just much too powerful because she has that, she can smell, right? And it's so overwhelming for her. This is too powerful. This is no ordinary beast. So the smell was getting too much for her, and so, and just the aura, the aura this thing was remedying off of. I mean, first it walks right past them. It eats on its own queen, and it can speak too. It can speak too, and say, "You're the one who killed our queen." And then right off the bat, just with lightning speed, swift speed, just goes and just punches Chiha right here on the ribs, broken ribs. Just tosses her to the side, and then the one guy who we spar from before, he can grow to giant size, right? He's getting his arms taken off, but thanks to the healer, I forget the guy's name, he heals everyone else, they're just getting the shit beaten out of. And they all would have died. Then they notice that what's his name, Byoho, the healer, he knows that his chemical, because he was trying to make himself invisible from the seat, but the black ant notices, and then just goes and punches right through him, and then just goes and bites his head off, eats his head. And his buddy, the one who he can transform into that beast, infuriated, but he's far too weak for this ant to grabs him, and he can hear his buddy's head inside the ant is telling him to run. And so and the ant is asking, who's your king? Who is your king? Which, by the way, we already know who the king is though, but he leaves them, goes and kills a couple more people, more hunters, and then we get the talk from the corporate and say, hey, basically retreat all the remaining hunters to retreat and rendezvous. And the one hunter, the one ice hunter that was sparring with Jinwoo previously, until they told him to stop, he gets approached by it. One of his soldiers gets decapitated, and the other one who's still alive that's with them tell him to get out of here. And he says the Ant approaches him. Who's your king? And he goes and says, I am. And I'm pretty sure that guy is dead because we saw his sword break. Now, appreciate how tries to maybe probably time for his guy to get away, but to him just like being as strong as he was, we saw against Jinwoo and others. So, but the thing is, I'm pretty sure he's dead because we saw his sword break. So, but he says, yeah, well, I wouldn't be the king, right? But we all know Jinwoo is, though, right? He's the king of king. So, and then now the remaining ants that when the queen before the queen died, it screamed. It was basically calling for more help, right? So there are other remaining flying ants. They come in, and Chiha and her group, they're just far too injured to do anything. And then the badass moments were Jinwoo's shadow soldiers come in, step in, and protects them. Because, what we saw previously, because he put some of his shadow soldiers within their shadows. So, yeah, he can exchange them, because it ends with him exchange. So he can take that group, transport to where he's at, and his shadow soldiers will take their place. So he basically just saves their ass. But first, like, who are these shadow soldiers? Who are the shadow soldiers? I think I remember that they never saw Jinwoo's his powers. So his shadow puppets. So he basically just saved their asses, and now the next episode he's going to go and he's going to fight that big ant, and just because the guy Beku, the leader of the group with Chiha, he said that when he saw the shadow soldiers, he's like, well, no, was the shadow guard the shadows? No, it was guarding about the ant. He's like, I haven't seen an aura like this since basically Jinwoo, right? Then he was referring to the big ant because he hadn't seen an aura strong as this since Jinwoo. So it's gonna be a huge big clash with that ant and then with Jinwoo. I mean, because this ant can just decapitate people at the drop of a hat, and with the Jinwoo, oh boy, it's gonna be such a great battle, because I thought the last battle he did with the Dungeon Master with his dragon, that was his peak perfection of the best fight of the series. Maybe this upcoming fight will top that one. I have no idea, because this show has done nothing but peak of perfection after another with each episode I've been watching. I mean, we got the best fight, supposedly the best fight with that Dungeon Master, the head Dungeon Master. Then the best emotional moments when his mom woke up, and now we get this another big epic fight. This show has been nothing, just been 20 out of 10 every single time I'm watching this show. This season 1 was great, but this has been a huge step up even further. This season 2 has proven to be much better than season 1, definitely. So while the fight against the Queen Ant was good, really good, I would say, and the animation showing especially the animation showing of the other S hunters showing off their powers, the animation is very slick, it's very clean, well done animation for just showing off their fire, especially the guy with his fire powers. But it was all well done. It was, and once again, animation, especially when it comes to the fighting, it's well done once again. And how when they were getting the shit beaten out of them, you have that song playing that was like from Jinwoo with this ant was beating the crap out of them. But it's gonna be a whole different ball game when Jinwoo shows up after he says exchange. It's gonna be a huge epic fight, and I can't wait to see it. So yep, it's season 2, episode 11 or 23 of Solo Leveling. Can't wait to see the next one. It's gonna be a great fight. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next one, and we'll see you next time for the next movie review. Later.